I need you to knock some sense into me. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I don't know.
I enjoy listening to you. I don't always agree with everything.
All right. Enough of this persiflage.
So, you want my question?
I'm certainly not going to get myself in trouble by telling you what to do.
That makes great sense. Gosh, that's good.
Did I overwhelm you with words and wisdom?
I've got 7 kids. I feel like I could call you every day.
Wait, you're telling me I'm wrong?
Yes, I am, Dr. Ray.
You just need to tune in to Dr. Ray, honey. He's got all the answers.
Am I right or am I right?
Probably.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
I gave up golfing. I tried. Went out with some friends. I was on the first hole of a golf course, getting ready. And I hear this voice coming over the clubhouse speaker. Would the man on the woman's tee back up to the men's tee, please? I looked around. I could feel everybody looking at me. But I was already deep in my concentration. I didn't want to be interrupted. So I lined up the ball again. Then the announcement comes. Louder than that. Would the man on the woman's tee kindly back up to the men's tee? I ignored the guy. I just ignored him. I kept looking down at the ball. Once more, I hear it. This time the guy's really upset. Please. The man on the woman's tee, back up to the men's tee. I finally stopped. I looked back at the clubhouse, cut my hands up, and I shouted, would the man in the clubhouse kindly be quiet and let me play my second shot? Well, very good at golf. Couldn't figure out how to get that ball through that dinosaur mouth when it was open. Nice to have you here. I'm Dr. Ray Guarendi, program The Doctor is in. It's a good thing I'm sitting here in this studio because I don't have to do anything that involves a little ball and a stick. You ever notice how many sports involve a ball and a stick? The hardest sport involving a ball and a stick is hitting a round ball with a round bat. Do you realize the minuscule margin of error you have to hit that ball solid? Curvature of the bat, the curvature of the ball. Then you got lacrosse. Again, with sort of a stick, then a ball. Then you got hockey with a stick and then a round thing. I don't know what it is about sticks and balls and ball-shaped things. I think basketball would be a lot cooler if you couldn't use your hands, if you just simply had to have a big stick. Like in tennis, you got this big stick with webbing at the end, and you hit this ball. Anyway, I digress. Here's the program. It's The Doctor is in, 877-573-7825. That's the number to get onto the program. 877-57-EQUAL. Number's pretty simple. And your question will be taken from my call screamer, Eric Dumont. Eric, is that some kind of French? Dumont? Am I pronouncing it correctly? I don't know. He might be screening a call, or I woke him up. He likes doing my program because he says he gets some shut eye. Thanks, Eric. And my call producer, the whole place there, in Ave Maria Radio, Andrew Kruchek, producer man between Eric and Andrew. They got 4 kids, kind of nice. 877-57-EQUAL. Question about life. Question about something you don't understand about life. Maybe something general. Kids, grown-ups, elderly parents, kids who won't talk to you, be they 5, be they 25. Doesn't matter. If it's something that is perplexing you, something that you would like to say, okay, Mr. Expert Man, let's see how good you are at coming up with a nugget that can help me during this time. 877-57-EQUAL. Lines are ready for your calls. We use extreme language. I mean like ultra, far, extreme, excessive language. God doesn't really get the same description Well, let me put it this way. He does get the same description as a chicken sandwich. God's awesome. And so is that pizza that I had. That pizza was awesome. We're running out of words to describe God. We've used up all the superlatives. And when we describe something, we do reach for the strongest word we can find. My mother is toxic. Oh, whoa. That is a strong word. That's way beyond difficult. That's way beyond self-centered. That's way beyond opinionated. That's way beyond unpleasant. That is poisonous, noxious, toxic. It's my mother. He isn't critical or put downish or scolding. He's emotionally abusive. Now, I know that makes people mad when I say that, but emotionally abusive is way overused. Way overused. It would be real hard for someone to emotionally abuse you if you didn't want to be emotionally abused. Well, they could be nasty. Oh, they could say hurtful things. They could say stupid things. They could say critical things, scolding things. But whether they have the power to make you feel abused emotionally is heavily in your hands. Oh, come on, Dr. Ray, you can't flip a switch and have something not bother ya. Well, that's right. It certainly can bother you. A lot. But I still think there's a big difference between something bothering you and something emotionally abusing you. Wouldn't you feel kind of impervious to somebody's unfair words if it would be very hard to emotionally rock you? I'm human, you can't flip a switch. No, you can't. But you can work on not letting stuff get to you. You can talk to yourself. You can say things like, wow, I wonder why that person has to be that edgy, that difficult, that prone to try to make me feel put down. Whoa. There's a whole bunch of other words that are really extreme, too. And we use them all the time. One of my favorites is narcissist. You know, that's an extreme personality disorder. It really is. Somebody that's a narcissist really has trouble with all relationships, or virtually all relationships. They're so self-absorbed, so self-centered, that they can't even carry on a relationship. And all too often we call somebody a narcissist because they're that way with us. We find them extremely self-centered. We find them difficult. We find them self-absorbed. We find them non-empathic. So therefore they're a narcissist. Narcissist has come to crowd out the word self-centered, self-absorbed, self-promoting, self. No, narcissist is a much stronger word. We reach for strong words. We reach for excessive words. Something isn't just unpleasant, unfortunate. It is awful. It's awful. The way he talked to me was awful. Wow. That's about as strong as you're going to get. You use awful for somebody's nasty put down, well, it seems kind of like it would fall short to describe a real crisis in your life. We use the same extreme words to describe something that is unfortunate, unpleasant, difficult, compared to something that is a true tragedy, a death of a loved one, or a loss of a relationship, or a serious life circumstance. That's awful. But that awful is also being used to describe when you got a flat tire and you got to work late and it wasn't a really good day at work. It was awful. How was your day? Awful. So what does it matter what word you use? because we think and we feel like the vocabulary that we use. If I say that my father-in-law is so opinionated that I can't stand it, he drives me crazy. Whoa. Does he really drive you crazy? Or is just kind of like a pain in the butt? Well, yeah, it's the same thing. No, it's not the same thing. Because you're convincing yourself that he pushes you all the way to your limit. He doesn't, you know. He may rankle you. He may not be pleasant to be around. Drive you crazy? Makes me go nuts. He just makes me go nuts. Well, you got to cooperate for somebody, in most cases, making you go nuts. There are certainly those people that you should be separate from because they're dangerous to your well-being. I got that part. But all too often, we mix up people who are dangerous to our well-being. Really dangerous. I mean, we're talking that this is somebody who doesn't respect your moral perspective and attempts to push their lack of morals upon you, or to steal some of the innocence from your kids and what they let them watch. Yeah, I got that. That's when you got to protect. But much of the time, we use these very, very strong words in relationships to describe people we find unpleasant, or hard to relate to, or don't like their personality, or think they're holier than thou. We do that. Watch your language. Watch the extreme language. Both ways, positive or negative. Oh, it was the most amazing experience, that ride. That new ride at the amusement park, that's amazing. It's amazing. Well, okay, but how are we going to describe God? Well, he's amazing too. So he and the ride at the amusement park are about the same, huh? On the amazing quotient? Well, I'm going to take a break now. And I'm really hoping for your calls, because I will be crushed, absolutely crushed, if you people don't call in. 877-57-EQUAL. That's the number.
Looking for a retreat venue for your youth group, sports team, ministry, or staff event? St. Francis Retreat Center in DeWitt sits on a picturesque 95-acre property, complete with 3 large conference rooms, 2 chapels, 2 dining rooms with commercial kitchens, meeting spaces for smaller groups, overnight lodging, and a professional staff to make your event a success. Call 517-669-8321 or visit stfrancis.ws to book your event today.
I don't think we've replaced our siding since we moved in 20 years ago. But I'm sure it's still fine, right?
We better call Mighty Dog Roofing of Ann Arbor.
Damaged siding can cause mold buildup and weaken your home structure. Protect your family by calling local Catholics Dan and Mary Flanagan at Mighty Dog Roofing for a free inspection of your siding, roof, or windows. Mighty Dog Roofing, 734-224-4916. That's 734-224-4916.
Underwritten in part by the following nonprofit.
Are you paying high prices with a traditional health insurance company that pays for things that violate your conscience? There's an alternative available. Solidarity HealthShare is a community of faithful individuals and families that never share into immoral medical services, all while saving you money with prices starting as low as $85 per month for singles and $512 for families. Never fund another abortion with your healthcare dollars. Call 844-313-4999 to learn more.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Thank you so much for joining me here on The Doctor Is In. Delighted to have you with me. A very intense psych aerobic workout. I was reading in the June issue, I believe it was, of Purgatory Today, that was saying if you take a call from a man of God, a priest, first, you could lop a couple of days off purgatory. So I'm going to go to Father Robert from Detroit. Hi, Father.
Hello?
Hi, Father. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Doctor. I'm so glad I got a hold of you.
Thanks.
I think I have fallen into a certain level of self-centeredness, and I have owed you an apology for over a decade now.
What? 10 years without apologizing to me? What do you think you are, my wife?
Well, no. What happened is about a decade ago, I was a young associate in the Detroit area, and I had been invited to one of those, dinner conference things, so you get invited to with regularity.
Yeah.
And, of course, the signs said that Dr. Ray was talking, and I was completely unfamiliar with who you were or your work on any level.
Well, that's good. You got a life.
Well, yeah. Bear in mind, I've been in seminary for quite a while, so I've been in a bubble. But, my sister-in-law was having a real behavioral issue with my niece, and I had been hearing about it loudly for over a year. And I was really impressed with your talk, so I walked over to the little booth there where you were selling your books, and there were two books that caught my mind, but I looked at my wallet and I only had enough money for one. So I grabbed one book and I approached, and I tried to pay for it, and you looked at me and said, I don't accept money from priests. So, of course, stupidly, I just said, well, then do you mind if I take two? And you gave me this look, and I still remember it to this day. And I felt like a real jerk, but you let me take the 2 books. And,
wait a minute. Father, I'm going to interrupt you. I would never give you a look askance at 2 books. I would be delighted if you would take 2. That's 4 more days off purgatory.
Well, I felt like I had taken advantage, so I just wanted to take the opportunity to apologize, and I can easily donate the cost of the book to any charity of your choice if you like.
No chance, Father. First of all, there ain't no way I'm going to look at a priest with this one eye raised, perplexed kind of, what are you doing? There's no way. I was probably pleased. Maybe I was flummoxed because I thought, gee, he wants a second one? Well, that's great. Cool. Oh, no. If you would have said, I'm going to tell you this, I probably shouldn't say this because this is going to kill my humility award. If you'd have said, give me 5, I'd have said, go ahead. Yeah. Heck yeah. Which ones did you take, by the way? Do you remember?
I gave them directly to my sister-in-law, but I know they were both on parenting techniques. It was a long time ago. You have to forgive me, but...
You think she read them?
I think she probably at least thumbed through them. My niece was really giving her a hassle back then, and she continues to be a problem child, but she lives out of state now, so it's a little bit out of my immediate accessibility, if that makes sense.
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, Father, you ain't got nothing to apologize for. You didn't do anything wrong. It's that simple. Purely, my move was self-centered. It was totally self-centered, because I'm thinking, hey, man, this is good. If I go to confession with the Father, I'm going to get a lot less penance. He's going to feel guilty giving me like a rosary or something in Aramaic. Father, where's your parish?
I'm actually in the very south section of the Archdiocese of Detroit. I'm basically holding up the entire Ohio border.
South part, right there above Toledo area?
Yeah, just above Toledo and Slovenia.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm glad you called. I had some fun with it, but I wanted to apologize to you because there ain't no way I'm going to give you a look askew because you asked for a second book. Ain't no way. I didn't say, sure, go ahead. I didn't say that.
It was a long time ago. I just remember feeling like a real jerk who had taken advantage after, I saw your reaction. I may have misread it. But,
I think you did, yeah. There ain't no way I'm going to give you any kind of look because you asked for a second book. I'd be flattered.
Well, thank you, Doctor. I just wanted to extend that and one less thing on my conscience I have to answer for, if that makes sense.
Well, I'm thinking here, Father. I'm trying to think what I'm going to give you for a penance. I'm not sure. See, I ain't allowed to do that, But I'd give tough penances. I'd say, okay, I want you to walk to the Holy Land on your knees with a pebble in your knee. Let me know when
Detroit.
From Detroit. Well, let me know when you get there.
We have to clear that with my bishop, but yeah.
Hey, Father, thanks for the call. It was great. I appreciate it. You take care.
Thank you for hearing me out. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
No, I know there ain't no way I would have given any kind of puzzled, toned with, what are you doing kind of look. That ain't going to happen. I want to get struck by lightning. Grace calling from Indiana. Hi, Grace.
Hello. Hi.
You know what? This is really a holy segment of the show because I got a call from a priest and then somebody named Grace. Tell you what, if we got any Angelas out there, call in. A couple of Marys, maybe.
Yeah. I could see if I can round one up for you.
So wait a minute. Your son went to a college. I'm assuming the first year, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And at the end of 1 year, he comes back with all kinds of ideas that you're thinking, where's this coming from?
Yeah, I mean, I think he has, but basically, yes. Yeah. I mean, I don't think that was completely new, but it kind of, I heard him making jokes and stuff, but then, and we'd give him a hard time, and he'd be like, ha, 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 and then when he came back, he's like, he means it, the statistics say this, and, he quotes statistics, and I can never get him to quite show me the statistics, and I have not gotten around to showing him his statistics are wrong.
I would wonder if it's what he's saying is not so much, well, maybe it is so much anti-Semite as opposed to pro-Palestinian. Is that what you're saying?
No, not really. It's really anti-Semite. It's the Jewish, Jews own the world, and they're really the bad guys. I mean, Palestinians are, but especially the Jews are, everyone, they've got everyone fooled. They're the ones, just bad. And he even doubts, the Holocaust, severity of the Holocaust, too. So, yeah. I don't think that just must, totally against everything he was raised to believe, and in so many ways, but, well,
you got to figure somebody, either it's his classmates or a couple of profs, have more or less said, okay, this is how you got to think if you want to be correct about things. Do you know where he got those ideas?
I'm guessing social media, and then he had some friends who, friends at college. One of them, I can't remember what it was, but he was very much. They had unusual political stances because politics is very kind of a big thing for him as well. But the one was a monarchist, and it was just a group of guys that had very strong opinions, and they hung out, and somewhere along the way he became anti-Semitic and a racist. And
now, the racist, are you talking about?
He's 100%. Yeah, he's 100% Western European is good for now, and maybe Poland. Well, definitely Poland, and then everywhere else is just bad, and then we need to kick him out of the U.S. And this is a kid who has everything else, he's, as far as what we believe as for our faith, everything is very Catholic, very pro-life, Anyway.
All right, stay there, Grace. Don't leave me. I don't want Grace to ever go away from my soul. I will absquatulate, I think is the name of the word, which means leave abruptly. But I'll be back, and then we'll talk on the other side. 877-57-EQUAL. This is Dr. Ray. Thank you for joining me here on The Doctor Is In. Just one quick announcement before I go back to Sherry. I got to congratulate the Guadalupe. I'm sorry, Grace. That's right. I was looking further down the line. Grace, don't leave me. If you're listening on the Guadalupe Radio Network, a great network, that station, whichever one you're listening to, needs to hear from you. They're going to air their fall share-a-thon starting Monday. So if you're listening, Texas, Kansas, New Mexico, Alabama, Florida, Virginia, Washington, D.C., all over the place, please support Guadalupe. Okay, I'm talking to Grace. She had a kid raised in the faith. He went to college, and his thinking got radically altered. Now, Grace, I got to tell you, this is really the first time I have ever heard of a kid gone away to college and coming back thinking totally at odds to the way he was raised. Wow.
Right? Me
Man.
too. Never seen it.
Well, apparently, honey, he got hooked up with a crowd that, given that he was malleable in his thinking, that he just got swept along. Has he talked to you about it? Has he told you this is how I came to look at things this way?
I mean, essentially, he's pretty bright, and so he kind of uses that as, so if I looked up the stats and I've done my research and I've seen the way people behave and, and then so that's where it comes from, he says, but also, his friends kind of see the same way he did. I mean, he went to a really good, very strong Catholic school that I still love, but darn it, I wish he hadn't met those guys that just kind of, solidified it maybe, at least for now.
What if you asked him, how do these ideas that you have square with your Catholic faith?
Yep. He, in his mind, somehow he thinks they do.
So
for one, the Jews killed Jesus, which, of course, that's not how he was raised, right?
I suppose you could try to reason with him, say something like, well, there were certain Jewish leaders who killed Jesus.
Right.
But, of course, John Paul II has even come out and said you can't tar a whole race.
Right.
So, in fact, son, you're just sort of ignoring your faith. My gut tells me here, Grace, that he's going to settle back down right now. He's gone there and he's seeing all this stuff and he's hearing all this stuff. And unfortunately, you don't have to mention the Catholic college, but unless it is one of these Catholic colleges that really respects the faith and wants to teach within the context of the faith, the majority of them, unfortunately, have a Catholic veneer painted over top of them, but they are predominantly private colleges.
Yeah. No, this is one of them. This is one of the good ones.
Okay. So then he must have hooked up with a little subculture within that college.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I would do is I would try to get him to explain in depth, how he has come to these conclusions. And if he says, well, the statistics say... Where are you getting your statistics? Tell me where you're getting your statistics. Well, they're there if you just look them up. Okay, let's look them up. Tell me. Make him present his case. You're not going to argue with him. Present his case. Let him say it out loud. And if you say, so you think it is perfectly moral to morally tar a whole ethnic group? You think that's okay? Mm-hmm. Yes, yes. That group, they all think alike. That's all. They're just one big thinking alike. That's right. That's the way it is. Okay. So what do you think Jesus would think about that? Yeah, what do you think Jesus would think about that, son?
Right.
Or the other thing is you could say, you know what, son? You get this goofy on me, I'm thinking of pulling the plug on your college.
Yeah. Well, actually, he didn't go back after that year. Initially, I think it was a financial thing, but because he doesn't want to go into debt, but he found a job that he really likes in,
so this other stuff is lingering then. It's just lingering.
Yep. It's not going to get healed that way.
Yeah. Well, he's fueling it. He's fueling it by finding certain places on social media.
Social media,
yeah. Yeah, that's what it's thinking like that. You might want to tell him, too, okay, son, what's keeping you from looking at social media sites that give a different perspective and their rationale for their perspective? This is not a he said, she said. This is, weigh it, son. Have you lost your critical thinking? Are you just going to go along with what you're told?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, it does get passed down. You know, the influence gets passed down. The rest of the kids are...
Well, that ain't going to happen.
You know, agreeing
Grace,
with them, but no.
Grace,
that's
no,
right.
you tell him he's in big trouble. If he's trying to influence the other kids, he is in major league trouble. I've even told parents, I can't tell you this, but I have told therapists or people to consider that child can't live here. If he is going to attempt to undercut my kids, his siblings, with his ideas because mom and dad are wrong and are throwbacks and are freaky religious Neanderthals, that ain't happening. That is not
He just
happening.
doesn't care. He just doesn't care.
Okay.
But yeah, that is kind of what where we're headed. But I kind of wish I could keep him under our wing. But ultimately, if he does start to influence them in a way that they're not fighting with him about it, then
And you didn't say this. I'm going to let you go because I'm running past time. I got folks, but you didn't say this,
much.
Grace.
Yeah.
But more often than not, this is a kid that, along the way, didn't necessarily embrace wholeheartedly with what he was being told, with what he was being raised with.
Okay.
That wouldn't shock me if you'd say that.
Oh yeah. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that probably. Actually.
You say you wouldn't say that?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I would say that he all along has been very staunchly Catholic, and this is why it kind of comes out of where. But he does have strong feelings about things and strong thoughts. You know.
Well, if he's
kind of coming out
been staunchly Catholic, then you got to figure the base is there, and at some point, I hope that he sees that some of the stuff that he's buying into doesn't have substance to it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
All right, but
I
think
I will work on your advice.
You may be facing a decision here if he continues to think that it's his duty to shape his younger siblings away from the way mom and dad are trying to raise them.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. We all just love you, and hopefully we'll get to see you at a conference sometime. We saw you once, and we just adored you from that point on. You're
you
really
dozed off twice. I remember that. You dozed off twice.
Don't tell them. Oh, now you know. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Grace. I'll
God
talk
bless
to
you.
Okay. Oh, gosh, I'm losing track of time left and right. Okay. Going to start the music here in about 10 seconds. A lot of calls up there. I want to get to all of you. Trust me. I will give you my word. I will do my best. I'll give the number out one more time. 877-573-7825. Debbie called. She says to tell Grace. Just wanted to tell her she is not alone. Well, ain't that the truth? How many times has that happened? You go to college and you come home thinking your parents are clueless. Sherry called some time ago about ketamine psychedelic therapy for her son. Well, I don't know how that went down. Hi, Sherry.
Hi, Dr. Ray. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, what happened?
I want to start out with something kind of good first, so I don't break down right away. First of all, would it help if my confirmation name is Therese after the little flower? I don't want to break the chain of, Father calling and then Grace and.
Well, it's quasi. It's quasi,
okay.
Sherry. Okay, so we're
stretching it.
We're going to let you sneak in there. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. And secondly, we had such a wonderful time at the taping in Buffalo we were there the first night, and I was the one that did what you told me. I brought my goldfish.
Oh, Sherry, I remember. Okay, let me give the backdrop. We were saying that we were pushing hard for an audience because sometimes it's tough to get an audience. I said, hey, bring the kids, bring your dog, bring your goldfish. So Sherry shows up at the audience, and she has this goldfish. And Sherry, I got to tell you, you brought back horrid memories of me when I was a kid. Well, actually, no, when my kids were little, going to the fair, and they wanted to win a goldfish. And I'm thinking, no, please, no, not a goldfish. They bring this goldfish home, and they die 3 days later.
Well, Gil lasted a little bit longer. He lasted 5 days. He's no longer with us. He had so much fun. He just, couldn't take all that fun.
I gotta believe though.
Anyway.
I think the camera guys caught you, and they came to you, and they definitely put you in post production. So you will be, when God willing these things air.
No.
Oh yeah, you'll be there. You and your goldfish, Sherry.
Well, anyway. Okay. What can you about this therapy?
Yeah.
That I know I've probably already have my answer, but I just need to hear it from a professional, that can this actually wipe away somebody's memory of past events to the point of just not wanting them in your life?
Are you saying that your son has, after his therapy, has more or less said, get out of my life?
Basically, yeah, that we can no longer, there's no longer anything. Oh, he cited my second marriage, his husband and my husband, and he wasn't a kind man. I will say that I made a wrong choice, and I'm sorry about that. But it wasn't the only thing. He's also, which I've known about, also has chosen a different lifestyle, which I knew about, and was still involved in his life. But this was such an abrupt. We were out, as a matter of fact. We went to the casino like we used to once in a while, go to the casino, stay for a couple hours, have fun, sit next to each other. We wouldn't even split up, have a couple drinks and that. And it was on Spy Wednesday of 2024, which a handful of years ago, I wouldn't have known that phrase, but the Wednesday before Holy Thursday. And
Sherry, here's what I think.
Yeah.
First of all, ketamine therapy is definitely controversial. Ketamine is a psychedelic drug.
Yes.
And it is used oftentimes illicitly, party kind of drug, does all kinds of things, has all kind of side effects. My guess would be two things. If your son, how old was he when he started the therapy?
Oh, this year he was 37.
Okay. So my guess would be either he's been struggling with living his life smoothly, and some of that is spilling over on you because you're, of course, the easiest person to blame. And so,
exactly,
as he's looked at you over the years, at best your relationship has been kind of civil, kind of cool. It's never been really warm. He's never really kind of understood his upbringing, never really understood you because he got older and he just decided you really kind of blew it. But nevertheless...
No, we did everything together. We did everything together because it's just he and I, and now my grandson. But anyway,
until what age?
Until he took me down to Florida for my birthday. The January before this March, January of 24. He and my grandson and I went down to the Florida Keys, and he rented this little boat.
My guess would be there's some kind of discontent percolating in him.
Oh, yeah.
About you or about your relationship. So he goes into this therapy, and I'm assuming that was under the guise of a therapist, correct?
Yes, a well-known neurological outfit here in the area.
My guess would also be it's not unusual, and again, I'm not going to second-guess a therapist because I don't know what went on, but it's not unusual when an adult comes to a therapist. This is kind of tragic. And they talk about their upbringing, they talk about their parent, they talk about they can't relate to their parent, they have so many hurts and stings, etc., 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 from their upbringing. It's not unusual for the therapist to kind of say, well, maybe you need to put some distance between you and that parent or parents. Unfortunately, I've seen that. I've seen that a fair amount. And, of course, because the therapist, by and large, has no way to really know how accurate what they're being told is. A good therapist knows that they're hearing a very subjective perspective of mom or dad or my upbringing or my parents' religion or whatever it is. Nevertheless, when they hear the distress in the client's voice and they want to make the client, quote-unquote, feel better emotionally, it's not unusual for them to say, well, if that person is giving you this kind of conflict, if that person distresses you this much, you might want to reassess the closeness of the relationship. That wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah. It's so involved. I couldn't even get into it. My first husband, we adopted him. It took 7 years for the adoption, and then my husband left because turns out he never wanted kids. It's a real mess.
So you had it was safe to say, Sherry, that you had a lot of bounciness in your life in raising this kid. And so with that, I wouldn't be surprised if, as a young adult, he has all kinds of mixed feelings, mixed thoughts about you. And when you say, but we were so close, we just did this together, we did that together. I don't doubt that, but I guess my thinking is some of the time there's resentments and conflictual feelings brewing within all that. And then sometimes they come to a head. So I got to let you go because I'm way past break. Just one quick question.
Thanks. Yep.
Has he totally cut you off?
No, I can't say totally because we can still text. He still provides my phone. And if there's something important, I can just text. And he did tell me, well, have a good Labor Day weekend. I said, thanks, you too.
So there isn't this quote-unquote social closeness anymore?
No.
All right.
No.
Well, something probably happened in the therapy. That'd be my guess.
I know what he's struggling with too. I believe it's really his struggles. But anyway, it's just been tough. But thanks a bunch. I really appreciate it, and it was a great time in Buffalo. So thank you.
And I just want to say something. I don't want to say I'm a weak host, but the goldfish stole the show. I just wanted to say that. I was a little perturbed, but I got over it.
Okay, good. I'm glad.
Thank you, Sherry. God bless you, honey. Bye.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Ray. Bye.
Raymond, keep track of the time better than this.
Concentration camp survivor Elie Wiesel once said to forget murder victims is to kill them twice. 65 million unborn children have been killed by abortion. A small fraction of these victims are buried in human cemeteries. Let us honor them at the graves and memorial markers. Saturday, September 13th, the National Day of Remembrance. See all locations and times at nationaldayofremembrance.org. That's nationaldayofremembrance.org.
CMF Curo is a Catholic healthcare ministry providing families nationwide with a better solution centered around whole health, spirit, mind, and body. Our members share their medical burdens within a faith-filled community. At CMF Curo, our members have access to a spiritual director, concierge services, and other health and spiritual resources. Find out if CMF Curo is a better solution for your family. Visit mycatholichealthcare.com. That's mycatholichealthcare.com.
I don't think we've replaced our siding since we moved in 20 years ago. But I'm sure it's still fine, right?
We better call Mighty Dog Roofing of Ann Arbor.
Damaged siding can cause mold buildup and weaken your home structure. Protect your family by calling local Catholics Dan and Mary Flanagan at Mighty Dog Roofing for a free inspection of your siding, roof, or windows. Mighty Dog Roofing, 734-224-4916. That's 734-224-4916. Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Rockford Files, Magnum PI, manly stuff. Lee from Kansas City, Missouri. Hi, Lee.
Hi there.
Thanks for the call. You gonna get yourself in the middle of some family feud?
Well, what I would like to know is, from an outsider's point of view, if you have a mom that's her desire, wanting her children to get along. She's aged as a matriarch, but I think through aging has relinquished her power, and therefore that's caused division, how some people will come along and rise up and have that power over the other children, and it's created a division that when visiting and listening, the others don't feel like they're listened to, that just this one person has this possession of power to say what they're going to talk about and not talk about. And it's just really caused a lot of hard feelings.
Is this a close friend of yours?
Day to day or whenever you see her, that's her main concern, is I would like for my children to be able to get along. But I believe as a parent, when you relinquish that power, you're turning it over to, and it's a younger sibling further down the line. And
is this a friend? Is this a friend, Lee, or a relative?
A
friend.
Friend.
So when you are around her, this is the topic of conversation?
That's what the last word is, or that is the topic. I wish my kids would get along better. And I'm wondering, what can she do to help foster an atmosphere of when they come together?
Well, you can ask her, what have you done? And then when she tells you what she's done, then you ask her, so what happened because of that? And I guess she'll tell you that it didn't work, the kids still don't want to get along, and no matter what she tries to do as a mom, they're not listening. Would that be likely what she'll say?
What I have been told is that they don't want to hurt the other kids' feelings, be it that maybe perhaps the individuals are right, the willingness not to make that statement.
Has she got one kid that's a little more tolerant and open than the other one that she could talk to more likely?
Yes, but I also feel that her walk with the Lord has been stretched, or that she has gotten off of even, her children to make references to that, perhaps delving, into that realm would help you more, seeking God's, getting into the Word, prayer, and seeking how God would lead you in that, and even speaking with other people, older Christians.
How old is she, Lee? How old is she?
About almost 90.
You think there's maybe a little slippage in her thinking?
No. Others and, people that are concerned have gotten together and say that's not the case.
Okay.
For that.
So her thinking regarding her kids at odds with each other is pretty on target. She sees the reasoning, she sees why, she sees what's happening, and she's not saying things that are off the wall.
Right, but I believe at some point you have to make a stand. Not all of us are going to be all right all the time, but we can agree to disagree and let other people's voices be heard as well.
Here's what I think you got to get to with her. You got to find out what she's tried. You got to find out who she's talked to, which ones, what the result was. And then you got to help her have some peace at age 90 over the fact that she can't control these kids who are probably in their 50s and 60s, and they don't want to get along. And as a mom, they're not going to let her influence them. They're not going to look at her and say, well, let's do this for the sake of Mom because she's getting up in years, and we certainly would like to have her feel that her kids are getting along when she leaves this world. If they don't have, Lee, if they don't have enough willingness to do that for their mother's sake at age 90, then you're going to have to help her be at peace regarding the fact that nobody can control another person, even if it's your own 55-year-old kid. You can't get them to see how to act differently. Call me back, Lee. I got to run. The clock is calling me. This is Dr. Ray. Thank you so much for joining me here on The Doctor Is In. I appreciate it so very much. Tomorrow, Look Back Friday. Hope to see you then, or hear from you then, or you hear from me.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.